Well, hello everybody and welcome to Lunch Break Live, real talk about obesity, food addiction, recovery, and what's really eating you. I am Carrie De La Cruz, back at you again for chapter 2 of my story. But before I launch into it, I would like to welcome everyone who might be here for the first time. Not knowing how you got here, just accidentally clicked, saw my face, see my face every day, wondering what it's all about, whatever it is. I'd like to welcome you. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you are not here for the first time, maybe you haven't been here in a while, or you've been here every day, welcome back. I am so grateful that you are here and hopeful that in sharing my story with you, you'll see some similarities to yourself in your own journey and might find hopefulness for your own recovery. So, without further ado, let's see who's here. I see Nancy. Hi, Nancy. And you know what? It's so funny. I don't even see my mom showing up yet. I know she's going to be here anytime. So, anyway, welcome. Welcome to Chapter 2. I guess that's what we're going to call it, which is Chapter 2, My Story of Resolute Recovery. Now, if you joined me yesterday for my 30-plus minute program, hey, it's hard to tell your story in like this much time. If you joined me yesterday for chapter 1, you learned about some of the unhealthy beliefs that I fed that ate me up, right? We were talking about that yesterday, and I think some of your feedback is that you're very familiar with those feelings, and you share them, and you also feed them because they eat you up. So apparently I am not alone in my hunger. So I shared some of my unhealthy beliefs with you, and those were like loneliness, hopelessness, worthlessness, ugliness, and sadness. Quite a hit list, don't you think? I talked about my fat head, okay? Not my literally like fat head that like bobbled around like a bobblehead. No, but like literally fat inside my head, right? Fat. And how the belief that I was the belief that I was fat affected absolutely every aspect of my life. Everything. I mean, literally, it started every sentence in my head. You're fat, and you're fat, so they're skinny, so I mean, wow, that is just crazy to have that kind of a filter. I believed. Now, here's the thing. Here's the key. Okay, what came up yesterday? I believed that I was unhappy because I was fat. So all of my unhappiness was because I was fat. Does this sound familiar to anybody else? Because I concluded that skinny people are all happy. Wow. Talk about like the absence of logic. But that was my conclusion. Skinny people are happy. And I believed that I was dumb, or at least not smart enough, because I was fat. Because a smart person would be able to figure out how to be thin, how to lose weight, right? So I was not smart enough. I believed I was ugly because I had short hair. And I didn't fit in anywhere. I didn't fit into clothes. I didn't fit in with people. I didn't fit into my image of what I thought I needed to look like, or I was supposed to look like or be. I was very, very focused on appearances, like how I looked on the outside. That was my focus. There was very little awareness, of the inside, because inside I was convinced that I was a good person. I was convinced that I was right. I was convinced that none of this had anything to do with the inside. It was all the outside. And instead of understanding that the outside is really a reflection of what's going on the inside, I believe I was completely divorced of those two thoughts, right? There was the inside and the outside, and near the tween to meet, right? Okay, let's see, what else? What else did I talk about yesterday? Oh, the fact that I didn't fit in made me lonely. Of course, it's self-imposed exile or otherwise, okay? I talked about how I believe that trauma and pain are common to people with obesity, along with fear and helplessness, being incapable. And I'm going to add a few things to my fat list today in chapter 2, okay? Building this mystery. And I'm going to start with shame. Now, I'm not even going to begin to guess how many people who deal with obesity also deal with shame. But I am going to tell you that I think it's like a lot of people. I think it's a big majority. Okay, maybe not everybody, right? But I think a lot of people do. A lot. Shame is big with a lot of people. It certainly was with me. Maybe not everyone is crippled by it, but I was. Absolutely. And let's see here. Shame takes a lot of forms. I think that's pretty fair, right? It doesn't look the same on all of us. It doesn't manifest itself. It isn't reflected in the same way. But I will tell you this, in my life, shame fed my worthlessness, okay? So I had shame, I was ashamed, therefore I was worthless. It was a very easy conclusion to draw. The two things went together. And it also fed my helplessness, right? I was ashamed, I didn't try anything because I didn't believe I could. I was helpless. I wanted everyone to fight for me. No one would listen to me, no one would believe me, no one would understand me, right? Shame. So I was ashamed by how incapable I was. Didn't realize that I was a victim all the time and that I was casting myself as a victim. I just believed maybe I was a victim, but I didn't know how much of it I was responsible for. I was incapable at losing weight, fitting in, and fighting my own battles. That was a biggie that came up yesterday, by the way, as I was writing, what I was going to talk about. I didn't think I could fight my own battles because I believed that if people loved me, if I was loved, people would fight for me, right? I believed, okay, my dad would fight for me instead of his, my mom says I'm not on. Am I on? I see things walking by. You guys, I see Jessica there. Hi. And Nina and Nancy. Am I on? You guys, hello? Yes. Okay. That's so weird. My mom just shot me a message that popped up in the middle of the screen and said I wasn't on. Whoops. Okay, I hope she finds me. Good. I'm so glad I'm here. Thank you, because it's not the first time I've been talking to myself. All right. Sorry, lost my train of thought. Where was I? Okay, fighting my own battles. See, I believed that if I was lovable and if people loved me, they would fight battles for me. They would defend me. They would protect me. And I didn't believe I was capable of fighting my own battles because I didn't think I should have to fight them. And I had all that fear. I was terrified, didn't want to stand up for myself, was so worried about what other people thought, right? I mean, it was a constant battle. It was, loud and clear. Thank you, Nina. I really appreciate it. Okay. So basically, I guess my conclusion was I was a loser at losing. Wow. On many levels, not just losing weight. Okay. Okay. So those are a couple more themes to add to the list of things I fed that ate me up. And maybe you can identify with some of the, Mom, you joined me. You found me. I've been here. I don't know why you couldn't connect on your own, but I'm really glad you made it in. So let's see here. Here's my list. Ready? I was fat, sad, lonely, hopeless, ugly, worthless, fearful, incapable, and shameful. Oh my gosh. When I just got all buzzy. You know how your leg feels if it falls asleep, and then as it starts to wake up and it gets all buzzy, pins and needles? My whole body just started to feel that way when I recited that litany of truth, because that's what it was. Meaning it was my truth. It was what I believed, okay? I believed it, so it was my truth. It was the truth that I fed, and it was the truth that ate me up. The thing is, I now look back and just say, no. Those were lies. Those were lies masquerading as truth. No. But it just makes me buzz thinking about how I spent 40 years believing that crap. That's what it was. It was crap. So anyway, I'm going to ask you, do those things sound like the characteristics of a person with a healthy self-esteem? Well, obviously, that's a gimme. I think you know the answer there. I'm going with no. No. Those things do not describe a person with good self-esteem. They describe a person who didn't believe in herself because she didn't believe she was worthy of love, worthy of esteem, success, or happiness. Ouch. Yeah, no wonder I was fat. So that was me. And for the record, I'm just going to tell you this. I've always hated the idea of self-esteem. I just do. It always bugs me. Gets stuck in my craw. It always felt like a negative, which is why I shunned it, which is why I pushed it away. And I think it's because it felt selfish to me, okay? That is a colossal misunderstanding of the concept, but that's what stopped me, because it starts with the word selfish. And I didn't want to feel selfish, even though, as you will learn, I really, really was. But it also felt unattainable and impossible and foreign, because esteem meant worthy of praise, recognition, honor, respect, and love. Hello? Yeah. Did I feel worthy of praise? No. Did I feel worthy of recognition? No. Did I want and crave praise and recognition? Yeah. Did I want to be honored? Yeah. Respected more than anything? Loved? Oh my gosh, like I wanted to breathe, okay? So I had no esteem, let alone low self-esteem. I mean, none here, zippo, okay? And I think it's kind of funny, as I was writing this list, I'm like, I struggle with a lot of these buzzwords, these, psychological buzzwords that are out there that start with the word self, okay? I do, and maybe that's just me getting in my own way. It's not the first time that's happened. But when I hear the word self, I hear selfish. And that was something I only ever knew to be bad. And I use the word bad there because that was how I lived my life. Good, bad, self, bad, others good. And yet I found ways to take care of my own needs in really unhealthy ways, didn't I? But think about this for a minute, okay? Self-importance. Self-importance, yuck. Self-righteousness, self-absorbed. Those are not things that I aspired to, right? Didn't want those. Those are bad. Those are negative, right? Selfie. I wonder if there's a connection there. All right, I digress. All right, before I talk about those any further, let me just back up the truck a little bit. When I left off yesterday on chapter 1, let's see here. I was 22, just married, pregnant, and weighed 205 pounds. Are you with me so far? Do you remember that part of the story? All right. And you know what? I think a lot of people would say that should have been a really happy time in my life. Like maybe one of the happiest, right? Because I was just married. I'm a newlywed and, I'm going to have a baby. I'm going to be a mom. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. It was just confirmation that I was worthless and foolish. See, that's what I took out of that. I was worthless and foolish because I just got a new job. Okay, so we went on our honeymoon. I come home and I'd quit my job right before I got married for lots and lots of reasons, mostly because I didn't fight for myself. So I quit my job, I come back, I got a new job, and 2 months in, I am pregnant, right? And that should have been okay. And I had to tell my boss. That I'm pregnant, and it would have been a lot easier if I weren't lying in a crumpled heap under my desk at work. So there I was in the fetal position, sicker than a dog, thinking I'm gonna die, and I'm hiding under my desk because I don't know what to do. I feel terrible. And everyone is telling me, you're pregnant. It's called morning sickness. Everybody has it. It's normal. And I'm like, how does anybody survive this? I can't even sit up. I am so weak. I'm throwing up. I feel terrible. This can't be right. And everyone's saying, you're weak. You're a failure at being pregnant, right? That's what I'm hearing. You're a failure. Oh, and you're fat. And you're just going to get fatter. So I'm sicker than a dog. And everyone's telling me it's in my head. And that I got to suck it up and quit whining about it and be strong and be like everybody else, like my mother-in-law, okay? We've talked about her before, right? Gave birth 12 times, pregnant 16 times. We used to joke that she just dropped it in the field and kept on picking. Pretty much. A champ. Not me. So in comparing myself to other people, and especially even other pregnant people around me, who were making their own maternity clothes, by the way, I was a failure at even being pregnant, okay? And so let's see. They told me it was normal. I was weak. I couldn't compare to other women who loved being pregnant, by the way. And after 3 days of not being able to eat anything or drink anything, I, not surprisingly, ended up in the hospital with severe dehydration, right? That doesn't sound normal to me. But they put me on these IVs, these drugs. So, and it was like called category 4, which is like not good for baby, but you do it to keep alive, to keep the mother alive. Great. I'm off to a really great start. This pregnancy stuff is terrific. So I was allergic to it too, but it was the only way to keep me healthy and to be able to eat anything. So there I am, home, off work from my new job for 2 months, feeling worse and worse about myself. I'm isolated. I'm alone. I'm feeling terrible and less valuable, more and more lonely. Oh, and I lost 26 pounds along the way. So I'm like, this pregnancy stuff maybe isn't too bad, but I was still too big to fit into affordable maternity clothes. I couldn't afford the maternity clothes that were out there for plus size people. So I was wearing ridiculous, ugly clothes and feeling like a frump, not feeling professional, feeling just fat and miserable and horrible and ugly and incapable and stupid. And What I didn't realize then while I was pregnant was that I was on my way to a debilitating case of postpartum depression. I'm talking massive postpartum depression. I didn't know it, okay? And I'm not going to go into all the gory details about what happened after she was born or how it was that she came to be born or just the whole experience or the aftermath. I'm not going to go into it. I'm just going to tell you it was horrible. And because I was suffering so much, I felt worse about myself because no one understood me and everybody thought I was being what? Selfish. Horrible mother, selfish, you don't love your kid, what's wrong with you? I've got to get back to work. That's all I know because I'm good at work, right? That's where they give you recognition and say, good job, and you get a paycheck. I got to get back to work. Doctor would not let me go back to work for 8 weeks. I'm like, can I go back at 6? How many women want to escape, like day one? Me, I did. So that made me an even worse person because I'm trying to run away from my child. That doesn't make anybody feel good. That makes you feel like a terrible, horrible person and a terrible mother. And something was wrong with me. Something was desperately wrong with me. Her birth was traumatic. The aftermath was traumatic. It was really, really hard. And I suffered for 2 years. And, after those 26 pounds that I lost while I was pregnant, I gained, those back plus 20 more. And so by the time I gave birth, I was like 225 pounds. And then over the course of the next 2 years, I gained 70 more pounds in 2 years, 70 pounds. And I was horribly depressed. And I was back at work, just working and eating. That's it. I would work like maybe 14 or 15 hours a day, claiming that I was just trying to get ahead and I was trying to be the breadwinner, even though I wasn't getting overtime pay just because, my husband stayed home. Juan stayed home with Hannah. And I was trying to be the breadwinner. I was trying to provide and get ahead without a degree. So since I couldn't do that, I said, I think I'll go back to school. What a great idea with a 2-year-old at home. But this was after the doctor diagnosed me with massive, major depressive disorder. And so I got put on medication. And, this was kind of in the days where everybody was talking about Prozac and how you're cuckoo and you're crazy if you're on Prozac, which I wasn't. But, it was horrifically misunderstood. People just didn't understand antidepressants. And if I had any kind of emotion, if I exhibited any kind of emotion, anger, sadness, whatever, it was like, are you taking your pills? Are you on your pills? Because obviously, if you're having this kind of reaction, it must be because you're not taking your pills. That's a colossal misunderstanding, of real human emotion. You don't take an antidepressant to not feel anything anymore. But yet, that's what I went through. And I didn't know how to teach anybody differently because I didn't know differently. So anyway, I went back to school, and I ate. And I got, A's on my paper, which made me feel really good. And I gave presentations and everybody said, woo, you are amazing. You are so amazing. What a great presenter you are. Yeah. Good, Carrie. And then I would go home and, I would say I hated my kid. And I'm sure she was not a fan of me either. And I went through a lot of this stuff and I realized, for whatever reason, to reject your own kid, that doesn't make them feel good. And it certainly didn't make me feel good. And I feel like, wow, that's not something I can ever fix, but I own it and I have apologized, but yeah, that one rears its ugly head every once in a while, and all I can do is do my best now because I can't go back and undo it. But anyway, that was what was going on in the background, feeling like a horrible mother. And I got my degree. And remember, I told you yesterday I was class salutatorian. And, well, when we graduated from the University of Phoenix, we were at the Anaheim Convention Center. So there were like 5,000 people. And that's what I'm talking about. I did talk in front of 5,000 people because it was like a massive graduating class. And oh man, I was amazing. And everybody was feting me and saying, woo, you're so good. And all I could think of is, I'm so fat. And I'm, filling in this gown and I look terrible and I'm lumbering, like a hippo down the aisle. It was horrific. So again, what should have been a very, very happy day, miserable because I feel fat. And after I graduated with my undergraduate degree, I'm like, oh, that felt so good. And I don't want to pay my student loans because they're like $30,000. So I think I'll just keep going to school because it feels so good and I can run away. And so I went for my master's and I did all of my master's work and I'm working on my thesis. I'm building my thesis. and I lost everything, and then I lost everything. I had a nervous breakdown. I did. You know, a lot of people say I fell off the horse. I was right there on the precipice getting my master's, right? And I said, it's all right, I don't need it. I really don't want it. Oh, it's not a big deal. Get over it. It was a big deal. I did want it. I did need it. I worked hard for it. You know, it was something I had to learn to grieve here in recent years. Something that I didn't complete. And that ate me up, by the way. Oh yeah, that ate me up big time. So anyway, you know, after all those years, la-da-da, between like 22 and basically my 30s and up until I turned 40. So like basically 2006, I ballooned to 300 plus pounds. And I felt terrible. I was depressed. I had anxiety. I felt helpless. I felt trapped. I felt worthless. I felt uglier than ever. And I felt old. You know, at 40 years old, I just felt done, finished. I wanted to just somebody fix me, help me, save me. So I went to the doctor. I'm like, I need help. What do you think the doctor told me? Just, you know, take a wild guess. Just a wild guess. She said, move more and eat less. Oh, no one's ever told me that before. God. Well, of course, denial being as potent as it was in my life, I'm like, I don't eat much. I really, really believed that. I don't eat much, and everybody told me that. You don't eat much. And I can't work out because of my horrific fibromyalgia. It's excruciating. The pain, I feel like I've been run over by a truck. I can't get out of bed in the morning. And when I even try to walk, the bottoms of my feet begin to bleed. You don't understand, little skinny doctor. You just think I'm lazy, which I have since learned there was a certain truth to that. There's a component of laziness. But why? Because I felt incapable. I felt helpless. I didn't think I could do it. So the laziness was reinforced by the fact that I didn't believe I was worth it or capable of accomplishing it. She didn't understand that. And here's my favorite part. When I asked her if I could have weight loss surgery, she said, and I quote, no, because weight loss surgery makes people depressed. Look, I'm fat and depressed. I'm ready to be skinny and depressed. Can you just give me that? Really? Because I was really sure that the reason I was unhappy was because I was fat. And that if I lost weight, I would be happy. It's really obvious, isn't it? I mean, that's my conclusion. But she said no, and so I left in despair. I was now hopeless, helpless, worthless, useless, ugly, and fat. I didn't realize then. I didn't know that I had the ability to fight for myself, to begin treating my obesity. I didn't believe it. And, you know, I thought the doctor was blaming and judging me, but she wasn't. She just didn't understand the things that were going on in my head. She just didn't understand. She was treating it like a physical condition instead of a mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical condition. She was just looking at the scale and the tests and the high blood pressure and the whatever and saying, yeah, we can solve your problems. You know, lose weight if you just move more and eat less. All right. But that's not what was going on in my head. And let's see. Where am I? Well, I went through that whole page without even knowing it. But I will tell you this. I believed my unhappiness was caused by my obesity. So if I weren't obese, I'd be happy. But here's the question. Was I unhappy because I was obese, or was I obese because I was unhappy? It kind of hurts your head just thinking about it, doesn't it? What time is it? Whew, I got to hustle through. Chapter 2. All right. Let's see here. It's classic chicken and egg, by the way. Yeah. What is it? Unhappy because you're fat, or fat because you're unhappy, or fat and unhappy? That's all I knew. It was like a big debate. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with this for today, okay? Because, you know, it's hard to kind of put this all together and, you know, give you homework or stuff to think about or whatever. But I'm just, these are like the points, kind of the points to summarize what the second chapter is all about. Losing weight won't make you happy, at least not forever. So in the beginning, sure, You're going to be really, really insanely happy while you lose weight. Of course, who wouldn't be? And you get all this attention and you feel better and you have more energy and you're getting healthier and you're getting off your meds and people are noticing you and you're coming out of your shell and you're coming out of your isolation and you're beginning to be around other people, which is like oxygen, right? And you're beginning to maybe open yourself up, maybe be willing to accept love, maybe. And you're beginning to tap into emotions that you never had before. And so, yeah, there is a whole world of possibility and opportunity and happiness that comes out of losing weight. But that is not a permanent state and that is not forever. So number one, I'm going to leave you with that. Number two, hopelessness is fed by helplessness. And helplessness is fed by hopelessness. Number three, worthlessness comes from not recognizing value. Seems pretty basic, right? But obesity is a selfish disease. I've talked about it before. I will definitely be talking about it more on tomorrow's program. What I'm going to talk about tomorrow, if you guys will bear with me and tune in with me again, I'm going to share what happened that enabled me to get weight loss surgery. And I'm going to explore the 6 years between losing half my body weight with weight loss surgery and choosing food sobriety. So what happened in the interim there? Because that's kind of a big deal. So what happened? What was like the pivot point or the tipping point that got me over the hump, that got me to weight loss surgery? And then what got me through 3 years to the point of, or 6 years of food sobriety, okay? I'm going to share my experiences a little bit with therapy. And I'm going to talk about those pivot points that changed my life. And I'm going to delve further into the whole self-esteem, self-worth, self-image thing. And I'm going to explore food addiction a lot more. So I'm going to leave you guys with all of that. That is probably a lot to process. I'm hopeful that as you hear my story, you know, I don't want you guys to feel sad for me. Okay? Don't feel sad for me. If you can identify with this stuff, feel sad enough for yourself that you're willing to do something to change it. That's why I'm sharing this story. It is not to get sympathy. It is not so that you guys will go, oh, poor Carrie. I don't want that. I don't need that. I'm good. I'm fine. In other words, I've addressed it. I've accepted my role in the crap. Yes, it comes back every once in a while and makes me feel really sad, really sad. But I don't live there anymore, and I certainly do not feed that anymore. That's what I want for you guys. I want to help you to get to that place and stay in that place that says, look, bad stuff happens. I was responsible for a lot of bad stuff. Bad stuff happened to me that I wasn't responsible for. Bad stuff will continue to happen. What am I going to do about it? Because feeding it doesn't fix it, doesn't stop it, won't solve it, right? That's it. Doesn't explain it, doesn't help it, doesn't make it go away. Feeding is not the answer to my unhappiness, right? That's the place I want to bring you guys, maybe starting tomorrow on chapter 3 of my story. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to thank you all so sincerely for being here with me. I welcome your feedback. I welcome your commentary. And I welcome the courage to share this with others. Okay, I know my mom and I were lamenting yesterday, and she was talking, and she's like, I'm your mom. I can't share your videos with everybody because they're going to go, the only reason you're sharing them is because she's your daughter. But there's so many people that, you know, could be helped, and how do I do it? How do I do it? I get it. I get it. My mom can't just be shoveling it and pushing it like a multi-level marketing scam and go, here, take it. I get it. So have the courage yourselves, please, to share this with anybody that you think would benefit from it, because gosh, you know, some people are at the end of their rope. Some people say, I can't wake up again tomorrow. I can't live another day. No one understands me. I can't do this. I can't set another foot in front of the other. I just can't do it anymore. I'm a fake. I don't understand. I'm confused. I'm hurt. I'm lonely. I'm angry. I'm unlovable. I'm unloved. Can't this help them? So share it with them. That's what I want from you guys. I'm gonna leave you with that. And again, right about the 30-minute mark. Thank you for sharing your time, your valuable time with me. And I am looking very, very forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. I have no idea where tomorrow's going to go, but then that's why it's tomorrow and not today. So for today, I will leave you with this. I will encourage you to have courage, seek peace, embrace joy, And above all, choose and live recovery. Remember, you can't stop feeding what's eating you if you don't know what's eating you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye.